Kyle. Hey buddy, how are you? Good stuff, man. This is yours.
Awesome.
White gets dirty pretty quick,
Yeah.
so
No, I'm pretty good. Thanks.
good stuff.
Yeah. That's pretty nice.
Hopefully it fits.
Yeah. Oh yeah, hopefully.
How's it going, everybody? I'm at Kyle's house right now. This is Leopazzo TV, Reef Tank Addiction, Season 2, Episode 1. And I'm super excited to be featuring this gorgeous 410-gallon saltwater coral reef fish tank. Kyle, thank you so much for having me here today. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself so we can literally jump in this tank and start learning as much as we can about it.
Yeah, my name's Kyle. I've been in the hobby for about 6 years, and other than that, I started out with a 29-gallon BioCube, and it just kind of snowballed into this thing.
So you started with the 29-gallon. How long ago was that?
About 6 years ago, almost exact. I picked it up down the street after thinking about it for like, I don't know, 6 months.
Yeah, okay.
I finally jumped in, got it,
No.
and then from that, it just started snowballing. And then there was a period where I got out of it for probably, I don't know, 8 months.
Right.
Went back to Nano.
Yeah.
And then the Nano lasted all of like 2 months, and then it just went crazy.
What was your second biggest tank besides this one? Because
Well,
you said 29-gallon and
Yeah,
then
so
Nano.
the whole story is 29-gallon to a 125 tall.
Right.
The 125 tall, I'm short, and
Right.
it was a horrible choice.
Okay, yeah.
I couldn't
for
clean it.
for maintenance.
Maintenance-wise,
Okay.
there was just no way.
So tall as in what, 30 inches? I'm
Yeah,
guessing.
it was like 30 inches.
I know. That's
This
what I
was
usually
horrible.
recommend someone's arm length,
Yeah.
kind of to get in there.
Yeah, that's good. And from that, I got out of it because the seam started going, and then I switched to like a fluval spec that I custom made, like so it would support saltwater. That lasted all 2 months.
Okay.
Then a 60Q, then like 2 months, and then an 8-foot reef, which is pretty much a copy of this. And then
Right.
the 8-foot reef lasted all of 6 months, and then this then.
So again, this is 410 gallons actual tank itself.
Yeah, it holds 350, my guesstimation, with
Right.
the rock and all the stuff in it.
Right.
So I call it a 350 gallon, but it does hold 410.
Right. If
or
it was
so.
empty completely.
If it was empty, yeah.
Right on. Right on. This tank is beautiful. I've never seen a tank like this ever before. Like, where did you even get this tank? Like, who made this?
I personally actually built it in my own shop. The design came about just to fit this area. The basement wasn't finished, so
Okay.
I finished the basement too. So I finished the basement,
Yeah.
and within a month I had this tank drawn up and going, and then it just, I don't know, it just went from there, and it started going nuts.
Wow. This thing is gorgeous. What kind of dimensions are we looking at here? Because it has a long front here, looks
Yeah.
like 6 feet, and then a 4-foot jog, and then another 6, eh?
Yeah, so it's 16 feet overall, almost exact.
Oh.
It's 32 inches wide on its ends,
Right.
and 43 inches wide in its center.
Okay, so we got, what, 43 you said this way?
No, 43 from front to back.
Oh, 43 from front to back.
Yeah.
And so, back here, what is that? That's your sump or
Yeah,
your filter?
it's a built-in sump.
Okay.
How this tank was moved in and how I wanted to do it.
Right.
A tank this size, I would want a remote sump, not underneath the stand, just so I could easily, take care of it.
Right.
So I went with an all-in-one design, and the all-in-one design actually has grooves cut into it, or dados cut into it, so
Yeah.
I can slide in and out baffles as I change what my equipment requirements are, or if I want to change stuff, since so much stuff hits the market so quickly.
Exactly. So
And to be honest with you, there's like 12 inches of piping on this tank, and that is it.
12 inches of piping.
Yeah, that is it. So
Wow.
that makes it a lot easier.
That's
And-
usually what you have in your overflow box alone.
Exactly.
At
So
least.
it made that part a lot easier. I've done sumps before.
Right.
I don't know why I did it this way. It just
Yeah.
kind of happened, to be honest with you.
Wow,
And it
so-
seemed to work well.
It is working. Looks amazing. Like, what else is there here? Like, what's your favorite fish in this tank right now? Let's get a little bit closer in and let's take a look at some of your favorite fish that you like.
Yeah,
here.
my favorite fish are probably the sex pair of black-capped jawfish. It was kind of a fluke to get a male-female,
Okay.
but I was lucky enough to get them, and they actually live. They're in 2 separate holes now, but those holes are actually interconnected, and they actually hang out sometimes out of the same hole.
So it's that guy popping out his head right there.
Yeah, and then there's one right above them.
One by the bubble.
No, one right above them.
Right above him.
Yeah. See his head? He's just poking up right against the rock there.
Oh, there he is.
Straight up.
There he
so
is.
One's
Back
large,
there.
One's small. One's probably 4 inches. The other one's like 3.5.
Wow.
And then I also have a sex pair of nasal tangs in here.
Nasal tangs as well, sex pair?
Yep. So one's male, one's female.
Okay.
Past that, just
These guys right here, this nasal right here?
Yeah. So that's a female.
This one's the female right here?
Yeah. And the other one that's hanging out by the Gorgonians is the male. You can tell because he has streamers on him.
You got the streamers on him, eh?
Yeah,
This male?
So he's a male.
Wow.
They're newer to the tank. They're doing okay. There's some aggression in the tank, but they don't seem to bug themselves. They seem to bug my my other tang, my other really small tang.
Right.
The
coal.
Yeah, coal tang.
The coal tang.
Yellow eye coal tang.
Right.
The orange shoulder's fine. I bought the orange shoulders just as a fluke. I saw him, I couldn't say no.
Right.
So I bought him, and all the other fish either serve a purpose or a random fish that I had to get because other people were getting out of the hobby.
Right.
Or my friends needed to take it over, just like the Moorish idol.
Right. So
my buddy bought a Moorish idol. I actually bought
Where's
two.
this one? Where's?
Yeah,
right
here's
here.
the Moorish idol. They're extremely hard to keep for most people. He couldn't keep them, and so I took both. One of them was too far gone to save.
Right.
This one I'm able to keep. Life expectancy probably a year and a half on them, even in the best case condition.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to feed them acans for the longest time, even to get them to eat.
No way.
Yeah, so they're a pain fish to have.
Wow.
If anything, most people shouldn't buy them.
So these nasal tanks here, how big do you think they'll actually get in this size tank? Because this is
well,
massive.
the fish will just keep growing no matter what tank they're in.
Yeah.
But I don't know how long this tank will be up. I mean,
Right.
the average lifespan of a reef is probably 2 to 3 years on average.
Wow.
So I mean, I will move at some point. The tank will come down. This isn't right now the end of the hobby for me.
No.
I'm still young, so I really want 2,000 plus, which I could build easy enough and actually do.
A 2,000 gallon plus.
Yeah.
Wow.
That would be probably the ideal thing.
That's what
so
you're
we'll
looking
see.
to have, eh?
Yeah, but I mean, some of the fish I had a really bad, when I set this tank up, I had a really bad velvet outbreak. I killed like 2 or 3 of my fish. I pulled everything out, which was probably 3 months ago, and I'm just restocking now.
Okay.
So some of those fish I had for actually 6 years since my BioCube.
No.
The clams, I've had some of them for 4 or 5 years. So I don't really go through much livestock. So that makes it a lot better, to be honest with you, and I can keep them and move them with me and stuff like that. So when I move, I'll be taking the nasos, the orange shoulders. All the other fish are there for just whatever. The Moorish idol I don't even want, but I just had to take him because it was going to die, so I might as well try to save it. And he's been doing well now for, I think, 4 months. So
Doing 4 months, eh?
yeah, so 4 months is pretty good. I think he's over the hump, but we'll see.
What about some of these corals here? You got quite a few corals and...
Yeah, I used to have quite a bit more. I sold a bunch. I'm having a kid, so I wanted to be
Congratulations.
Thank you. I wanted to be more species specific, just to make it a little easier to take care of.
Right.
So I went a lot of mushrooms, a lot of zoanthids. I started getting into Gorgonians lately, so I got a bunch of those right now.
Yeah.
I have the green star polyp, Kenya tree everywhere, because the thing just
It keeps on fragging itself.
Yeah, non-stop. So I whip out tons of it all the time.
Which one would you want me to zoom in here right now? Which one is your favorite coral? Like, give me 3 of them right now.
My favorite coral?
I want to know what's your favorite. Yeah.
All of my favorites. I have 4 clams in here. Those are my favorite.
Those are your 4?
Yeah, those are my 4 favorite corals.
So which clams are these exactly?
The scamosas, if I believe.
Scamosas, eh?
They're on the easier end of the scale to take care of. Again, some of them I've had for 4 years. They seem to always do well for me.
Give us like an approximate size you think this one is that we're looking at in this camera right here.
That one's at least 12 inches out of the water.
12 inches,
Yeah.
eh? Wow.
Yeah, that one's large.
So there's the one there. Let's take a peek here. These other 2. Which ones are these ones? The same?
Yep, they're all the same family or species of clam. They just have different coloration, different stuff.
Wow, look at the size of these guys. And they're so beautiful and open, eh?
Yeah.
They're super happy, eh?
Yeah, I've always had luck with clams.
You find any problems with the gobies picking up some sand and dropping it on the clams?
No, I mean, they're from the wild, so I
Yeah.
mean they deal with storms, they
Yeah.
deal with stuff. There's the other clam right jammed in between there.
Right, jammed in there.
Yeah.
How are they? How is the clam? You know, making do with touching any other corals, or are you noticing everyone's just kind
That's
of?
fine. They don't like anemones that much when they touch them, but
Okay.
actually they seem to be pretty sting resistant, or they just don't care.
Right.
Any places you can see wear marks on them. They
Right.
turn like a lightish gray color.
Right.
Again, but I've never really had any problems with the clams. I mean, they just kind of sit there. I was told once that they deplete phosphates in water, so you know there's one beneficial if that's true. So that's good. The next thing I'm switching into is SPS. So I got SPS testing right here going on.
SPS testing, guys. You hear that?
Yeah.